Greetings, this is Paul the Poke from paulthepoke.com. Today's topic, trend update. Obama sides with United Nations on Israeli settlements. And today is December 23rd, 2016. Been a busy couple of 48 hours at the United Nations. The scripture reference is out of Joel 3, verse 2, part B, Israel, and they divided up my land. Now, going back to yesterday, December 22nd, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel encouraged President-elect Trump to offer his opinion on the UN vote to stop the construction of Israeli settlements in the West Bank. And the UN was to vote on the construction of Israeli settlements, and they have been a sticking point in the peace process. Now, Egypt had written a proposal to stop all construction in the, quote, occupied territories, and the draft stated Israel had, quote, no legal validity to build or construct housing in those areas. Now, the UN resolution was drafted by Egypt and stated Israel should, quote, immediately and completely cease all settlement activities in the occupied Palestinian territory, including East Jerusalem. No legal validity and constitutes a flagrant violation under international law. But then later, Egypt postponed the vote. Appears to have been multiple contacts between Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, Prime Minister Netanyahu, and President-elect Trump. And allegedly, Trump called al-Sisi specifically after the vote was postponed. And then Trump later issued this statement. The resolution being considered at the United Nations Security Council regarding Israel should be vetoed, as the United States has long maintained peace between the Israelis and the Palestinians will only come through direct negotiations between the parties and not through the imposition of terms by the United Nations. This puts Israel in a very poor negotiating position and is extremely unfair to all Israelis. And you can see a link from theguardian.com. Keywords Trump intervenes to sideline Obama over Israeli settlements. Now, early this morning on the 23rd, New Zealand, Malaysia, and Venezuela and Senegal were co-sponsors to the Egyptian draft. And these countries stated they have the ability to proceed to put it to a vote ASAP. Well, they did. So here we are this afternoon, December 23rd. Today, the United States chose not to vote on the UN resolution banning further construction of Israeli settlements. By abstaining, the measure passed unanimously 14-0. The measure calls on Israel to stop construction immediately. Now, yesterday, Egypt brought forth a proposal. Today, Malaysia introduced the resolution to the UN. And the Palestinian Authority celebrated the vote as a, quote, day of victory. U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Samantha Power, stated, "We cannot stand in the way of this resolution. Two states living side by side in peace and security. The settlement problem has gotten so much worse. One has to make a choice between settlements and separation. And we would not have let this resolution pass had it not also addressed counterproductive actions by the Palestinians." Now, Israeli cabinet minister Tzaki Hanegbi said the non-vote by the Obama administration is a, quote, spit in the face of President-elect Trump. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu offered these words: Israel rejects this shameful anti-Israel resolution at the UN and will not abide by its terms. At a time when the Security Council does nothing to stop the slaughter of 500,000 people in Syria, it disgracefully gangs up on the one true democracy in the Middle East, Israel, and calls the Western Wall, quote, occupied territory. Would you ban the French from building in Paris? And again, that's from Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel. So also in response to this vote, or non-vote by the United States, at the UN, the United States Congress threatened to defund the United Nations. And now the United States does provide approximately 22% of the funds for the United Nations. Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina made the following statement, and he's the one who's in charge of the purse strings to the United Nations. And here's Senator Graham's quote: "This provocation action by the United Nations is an outrage and must be dealt with sternly and forcefully. If the United Nations moves forward with the ill-conceived work to form a bipartisan coalition to suspend or significantly reduce United States assistance to the United Nations. In addition, any nation which backs this resolution and receives assistance from the United States will put that assistance in jeopardy." Senator James Lankford of Oklahoma also issued a statement. And he stated, "By allowing the United Nations anti-Israel resolution to be adopted by the Security Council in the face of fierce bipartisan opposition, the actions of the Obama administration will forever be remembered as a dark, shameful moment for our country. The resolution passed today will only serve as a greater barrier to peace, which can only truly be achieved through negotiations. Instead of pressuring the Palestinians to be a partner for peace, President Obama chose to break with long-standing diplomatic practices and allowed the one-sided, anti-Israel United Nations to be used as a tool to bludgeon Israel, our greatest ally in the Middle East. We applaud the efforts of Republican senators led by Senator Graham to strip funding to the United Nations, which has time and again showed their anti-Israel bias. What happened today will forever be on the heads of the president, his party, and groups like J Street that remained silent," close quote. And again, that's from James Lankford, senator from Oklahoma. And then lastly, President-elect Donald Trump tweeted, "As to the UN, things will be different after January 20, close quote. So a lot of action taking place today in and around the United Nations, their vote, the United States non-vote, which effectively allowed the enforcement of this resolution. I have links provided by Breitbart.com, timesofisrael.com. Plenty going on for people to read if they're interested. If you're interested in this, please feel free to check out paulthepoke.com. Keywords: Israel, United Nations, settlements, West Bank, Jerusalem, Obama, Trump, Netanyahu, Palestinians, Graham, Lankford. A lot going on. Guys, take care. Have a good day. Thanks a lot. Bye.